Well, just last week, I had the opportunity to talk with the chairman of the National Association of Manufacturers, David Farr. He's the CEO of Emerson, and he was in Detroit for the Business Leaders for Michigan CEO Summit. He had a lot to say about the future of manufacturing in the U.S. and Michigan, things we're doing right, and what we have to do to keep up with other countries looking to produce in a global market.
I firmly see the business world today see that we have a window to take America manufacturing up to the next level and compete against the world and regain some of the momentum that we've lost over the last 20, 30 years.
So let's talk a little bit about that global competition and maybe some of the things that America is doing right now. Do we have the tools to be able to compete and to get industry to come here to the U.S.?
In my opinion, we do have the tools. I think we have the smartest people in the world. We have innovation right here in the world. We have our location from around the world. If you think about where we're positioned relative to Europe, relative to Asia Pacific, we're in a great location. We have great natural resources. We have great energy. The issue is we need to make sure that we have the right tools from the government side of this to support manufacturing. And why, as I look at what's happened to a company like Emerson over the years, when we moved to Asia, and I ran Asia for a while, we faced the governments over there saying, please come, and they gave us the benefits of the education reform. They gave us the benefits of the taxes. They gave us the benefits, and that created a movement to those countries. I see the desire within the United States right now to try to shift that back, and it will shift back over time. And if you do get the right tax reform, you'll see a lot of international companies that will come into this country because this still is the world's largest economic market. It's still the most important economic market. And I think we still have to generate some of the best innovation in the world. In whatever industry you want to look at, from automotive to an automation industry that I serve today.
All right, so let's talk about some of the technological advances that are coming down the line for manufacturing. What kind of challenges do you see ahead for U.S. manufacturing in that point and trying to keep up with or stay ahead of where the technology is going?
The biggest challenge is educated workforce. And one of the things when we used to meet with the president, and we had 5 things we always talked about. We talked about the tax reform, we talked about regulations, we talked about the infrastructure, we talked about trade, but the 5th one was always education. We've got to change our education process to develop the next generation of skills that we need as a country. It's something we're lacking, and it will hold us back, not only from people that have the smart people who work on a factory floor, but they have to have technical skills to do that, but also the innovators. And I think that's the biggest issue we face as a nation. But I also believe we can solve that issue. And that's where a big issue is for all manufacturers today. If you go around and talk about, I cannot find the right people that I need to move forward the next innovation. But I fundamentally believe that we have the ability to change that, and we have the ability to drive that next generation into innovation, into manufacturing.
So let's talk a little bit about skills gap, and a lot of people in this room grapple with that. So what have you been doing at Emerson? Give us some of the initiatives that maybe you've been doing to try to close that skills gap.
As the CEO of Ford said the same thing, I think you're talking about Steelcase, we've had to re-educate our workforce. So as we shifted into different technologies or different markets, we've had to take the workers and send them off to schools. Send them to technical schools, send them to what I would say just basic training schools of skills around automation, around the computers. From our standpoint, we as a company are investing millions and millions of dollars a year in STEM education, in technical schools, the trade schools that we need in our world today for the factories. And I think this is something it's really exciting to see. I think in the Midwest in particular, you see the heart of the industry spending money and investing in technical schools. And so we need both at the college education, but just at the technical school level too. And companies like Emerson are putting a lot of money into that. And if I went around the room, I'm sure every company in this industry is doing the same thing.
And to check out more presentations from the Business Leaders for Michigan CEO Summit, just go to MiWeek.org.